Today's podcast is brought to you by T-Mobile. Join the thousands tweeting and posting their appreciation for our military and veterans by using hashtag HatsOffForHeroes. When you share your photo or video, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support vets with Team Rubicon.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the dirt. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
It's been a long time
We shouldn't have left you
without a dope pod to step to. He is Jalen Anthony
What
Rose.
up, Daryl?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the news.
We're Jalen Jacoby. What do?
We gonna be what they want.
Listen, I'm not going to act like this is a difficult job. I'm not going to act like I'm underworked and overpaid. But I am going to say, we didn't have a show scheduled this entire week. What? With free agency happening, people mad at me on Twitter. I was like, you know what? I know this is my day off, but I got to come in. We got to get the people they want. We say we get the people they want every single day, and then we don't do a podcast for an entire week during one of the biggest news weeks in the history of the NBA. So we had to come in and do this for the people.
And this is why, for those that have supported this fine podcast for 7 years, we come into the studio to try to give you exclusive content for your Friday, for your Saturday, for your Sunday, whenever you hear this, even if it's at the top of the week. Because whatever information that we drop, by the time it's on the ticker, it's going to be broken news.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, because you heard it here first.
And you can watch Get Up every single day, but you're going to get every single news story that's important in the history of sports every single day. But here's what you're not going to get. You're not going to get a show that starts out with this information. Lance Stephenson is a Laker. Lance Stephenson is a Laker. Lance Stephenson is a Laker.
He waited till you left.
LeBron was like, I need Lance. He's like, I'm not signing. I'm not signing.
I don't want Kawhi.
I don't care.
I don't want
Paul
George.
No, I don't care about Boogie Cousins. I don't care about Kyrie Irving. Don't talk to me about anybody. We need Lance if we're going to compete in the National Basketball Association.
Can you allow the people who just got turned on to our program to understand the wealth of knowledge that you have as it relates to one Lance Stephenson?
I'm a Lance
and
fan.
How he became your favorite player.
I'm not going to tell the story for the 17th time, but I'll say very briefly, I'm a Lance Stephenson fan because I used to watch a lot of Summer League basketball in New York City, and I used to go to the Kingdom every Friday night, and Lance Stephenson was in the Kingdom League, and they called him the 8th grader. I think he was going into 9th grade, so he was an 8th grader technically, and he was just bodying people. And then he went on to win the championship in 9th grade, win the championship in 10th grade, win the championship in 11th grade, win the championship in 12th grade, and I was like, oh, he's the next Michael Jordan, obviously. And then for some reason he went to Cincinnati. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And then we all know what happened from there. But Lance is on the Lakers. You know LeBron is on the Lakers. It happened 6 days ago. I love the move. But here's one thing that me and you talked about off wax. We'll talk about off wax. I do not want them to trade these players. I do not want them to go chase Kawhi and gut the young core. They should just run with this team, be a 7th seed, lose in the first or second round, and then re-up for next year.
Correct, because if the goal, which I know it is when you talk about LeBron James, at this point of his career is championship or bust every time he laces them up in his 16th year after he just played 82 games and continue to improve his game. And you have Magic Johnson, who's done a terrific job of attracting a player like LeBron, and Rob Pelinka, my former teammate, actually delivering on their promise. The next level to that is to win a championship. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you do that when the Golden State Warriors are going to trot 5 All-Stars out there at some point next year? Not by depleting your assets.
No.
Before LeBron went to the Lakers, trading a couple of your young parts probably made sense if it was going to get you an all-NBA performer. Now that you have an all-NBA performer, you need to keep Kuzma, Ingram, and Ball and add a second one. Because if the Lakers are going to be a championship team, their second best player is not currently on their roster.
Oh, no question.
So they need somebody to join what they already have to help catapult what they've already tried to spearhead.
Our colleagues, Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst, shout to them. They had a piece about all the Lakers roster moves recently, and they were curious. They were curious moves. Even Lance. I love Lance, but I was like, really? Like July 2nd, we're doing Lance. All right, okay. And then it's
like, at least wait until the 20th.
Yeah. And then it was okay. JaVale McGee. All right, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. We all know how that happens, but these are all 1-year deals. And Rondo again, 1-year deals. So you can see that they're like, all right, we'll get through this season. We'll see what we have, and then we will really restock next year in free agency. But another thing they said about this, Ramon and Wendy's, the crux of their whole piece is it's a different LeBron James. We're not going to do the model that they did in Cleveland, which was LeBron James, you'll have the basketball. We'll surround you with 4 players that can shoot threes. You create everything. You drive the middle, suck in the defense, kick out to someone. Or, you post up and then they get a double team. You kick to someone who kicks to someone who gets an open three. They got playmakers. Lance Stephenson gets his own shot. LeBrondo, ball dominant, playmaker. Lonzo, playmaker. Now they're surrounding LeBron with playmakers to take some of the wear and tear off of him. Do you agree with that strategy, or is that just like they're just justifying what they did after the fact?
Initially, it exposes how different the conferences are and what is it going to take to be successful. In the Eastern Conference, having an all-NBA performer definitely gets you to the playoffs, if not to the second round. And if you have more than one all-star, you hope, like the Toronto Raptors, you could be the number 1 seed. Yep. Like, that's just how it works. I know the Washington Wizards ended up being an 8th seed, but the crust of the conversation still happens because Greek Freak is expected to lift his team to the playoffs. A lone all-star. So you can play isolation. You can play high pick and roll, pick and pop, and have your ball-dominant player who's an iconic figure in LeBron James either, like the park on the weekend, play bully ball, basket or a foul. If you don't stop me from getting a layup or a dunk or an open shot, I'm going to kick it out to a teammate. Because the guys he played with in Cleveland, none of those guys could create a shot off the dribble.
No. If Kyle Korver, they could just not cover him. He wouldn't even know how to get to the hole.
But that's an effective Eastern Conference way to play. That's what makes the Celtics look so different. And that's what made them catapult themselves into a number 1 seed when Isaiah Thomas was on the team. Now you get to the West, it's all pace and space. Like, teams want to play like that, but you got to have snipers to do it. And the best teams in the West, they can do it because they've been practicing it and putting rosters together to play that style for so much longer. And if you're going to compete, it can't be one man just dominating the ball. Look at a team like the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry doesn't lead them in assists. Nope. Draymond Green does. Look at a team like the Houston Rockets. They had 2 guys, Chris Paul and James Harden, that are elite playmakers. Look at Oklahoma City Thunder. They have Russell. He has triple-doubles in back-to-back seasons. Plus, he has Paul George that can create for himself. Look at Jamal Murray and Gary Harris. So that's where the game is going. Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum. And now that LeBron is in that conference, as you alluded to, you want to keep his usage down, but also that ball has to be hopping. The Cleveland Cavaliers were amongst the league worst teams with LeBron the last couple of years as it relates to passes, like the Houston Rockets, but the difference is Houston Rockets got 2 guys that's creating for everybody.
Exactly.
And in isolation. And so that's what they have to lift, a burden from his shoulders to have to do that level of creating going into a 16th season.
And another thing that was in the piece by Ramon and Wendy is they have some defenders. It's like the Cavs' defense was just an afterthought. It was just something they had to do. It was like a requisite. It was like, they had to do it. But they have some defenders in the Lakers. And this whole thing makes me want to move back to LA. You know what I mean? Lance is there. LeBron's there. I'm glad I'm not in LA because I don't know if I could ever, as someone who grew up in Massachusetts, I don't know if I could ever put on a purple and gold.
You can't.
I don't know if I ever could. Nope.
Hi, I'm Bryce Harper. Join me and the thousands tweeting and posting their appreciation for our military and veterans by using T-Mobile's hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. When you share your photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support vets with Team Rubicon. So America, keep posting with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes and T-Mobile will keep giving.
Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. Official licensee of Major League Baseball Players Association.
Your ears should have been ringing because as you mentioned that, the term die easy came up with my brother Clipper Daryl.
Yep, I saw that.
And he's like, oh, when LeBron James calls, you switch. But Clipper Darrell, I'm going to put this on wax.
And we putting it on wax.
Don't do it.
You're not fooling anybody. You're setting yourself up to be the hero. I know this very well. You're not going to leave the Clippers.
We know that.
To be a Laker fan.
Clipper Darrell's around LA too. Like Clipper Darrell's not hard to find. No. You know, he's like in the restaurants. He's in LA Live. Like I gave Clipper Darrell's pounds like once a month.
And so what he's going to do is make everybody think that he's leaving, had himself trending and all of that, and then show his loyalty, his unbridled affiliation with the Clippers. And when they get a big-time free agent or when they make a move this offseason, he's going to be like, I never was going anywhere.
Of course he is. Clipper Darrell. Do you think they make moves? Do you think the Lakers, I mean, let's just not even Kawhi. Like, do you think this roster is the roster they're going to start this season with?
Pretty much, yes.
I think so, too. And I'm not mad at it.
This is their squad.
They're not going to win a championship. No. Sometimes you have to look at yourself in the mirror. We always say happiness is a function of realistic expectations. And they're looking in the mirror, and Magic and LeBron sit across the table just like you and I are now. And they're like, we're not going to win the chip this year.
They're like, wait a minute. They got that guy's last name is Curry.
Yup.
And Thompson, they're still on the team. And Green, he's still a part of it. Oh, and the Finals MVP back-to-back years plays with them.
Did you text Chris Paul? They're running that back. They lost to Ariza. They're running all that back. Like, man, we weren't. No. Oh, and Paul George? Yeah, he's not with us. He's with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And so a couple of terms that have been attributed to the guys that they signed are probably what people are questioning because JaVale McGee has been questioned for his level of, I guess, concentration.
Focus.
And for Lance,
maturity.
His discipline.
Maturity.
And for Rondo, the respect of those that he plays with. Mm-hmm. If he has it, he's going to be invested. If he doesn't, it may end awkward like it did in Chicago and or like it did in Dallas. But on the other side, Rondo, triple-double threat. He balled in this year's playoffs. He unlocked their offense.
Anyone who watched the Pelicans in the playoffs was like, this is old playoff Rondo.
No question. That's a real thing. Lance, when he's a member of the Pacers, a much different basketball player. We see the footage of him blowing in LeBron James' ear. But for those that don't know, that year, Lance was among the league leaders in triple-doubles. Mm-hmm. And that took place in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. JaVale McGee won a championship in back-to-back years with the Warriors.
Just let me pump the brakes for a second, because I remember this time last year I was saying the same thing about the Cavs. Because if you look on paper, you're like, and you look at the best version of all these players, I was like, they've got Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose. He's back and healthy. You know, you look at it, Jay Crowder, he's going to take defense, 3-and-D player, wing, and Isaiah Thomas, MVP candidate. I remember looking at the Cavs roster on paper about a year ago and being like, this is a championship team. Like, their second team would probably make the playoffs in the East. And we know how that went.
You didn't say that on this show, but I know what you mean.
Yes, but their second team was good. You know,
you didn't say that.
No, but you understand what I'm saying is if you look at the paper,
I gotta have your back on that. I know where you're going.
Just allow me to make my point, Jalen. Let me make my point. You're talking about the best version. You could also see it go left. Like, could you see this go left with, Rondo in there? You get some rumors. And then Luke Walton. Like, oh, Rondo and Luke Walton. LeBron's not respecting Luke Walton. When are we going to start talking about Luke Walton's job? Like Lance and Lance and LeBron arguing after timeouts. You know how LeBron on the court, he calls his teammates out when they make mistakes.
Well, this is the trial period for the young players are already on the squad. Kuzma, Ingram, and Ball. To see how they fit with LeBron. Mm-hmm. And if Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka feel like they're going to be a part of the run to contention.
Everyone's auditioning. It's Los Angeles.
Same for Luke Walton.
Everyone's auditioning
because
for LeBron.
Magic Johnson didn't hire him. That's just how the game works.
Dude, you don't think Magic Johnson has some potential head coaches in his phone, do you?
He does. And for anybody to say remotely that Phil Jackson is in play in any way, shape, or form to coach the Lakers, that's just irresponsible.
Stephen A. Smith said it on First Take.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, just now. What? Recording this right around First Take.
Oh, no, he didn't say that.
Who knows? I didn't watch the clip. I just saw it on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, he didn't say that.
I love Stephen A. Smith.
He knows that Jeannie Buss ain't about to bring her former boyfriend to coach LeBron James.
That's a good point.
After she just hired Magic Johnson.
That's a good point.
That's just not going to happen. And for those who haven't been paying attention, remember when Phil Jackson called a group of individuals a posse? You remember who he was talking about?
LeBron James. That's a really good point, Jalen Rose.
So that's just
we forget these things.
So Stephen ain't my brother.
That's not happening.
We disagree and agree on a lot of topics, but that one ain't happening.
Fun to talk about. We're not going to sit around and talk about the Lakers and LeBron because some tells me we'll be doing it for quite some time.
Yep. Allie's mom knew she had a strong kick even back in the womb. And from then on, Allie was always kicking a ball and saying she was going to play pro soccer. And one day, while she was kicking a ball against a wall, her skills drew even more attention. Her boss said, "Could you please stop that and get me those quarterly numbers I asked for?" Turns out Allie just wasn't that good a talker. But she was a good accountant. That's why she switched to Geico. She knew they could save her a bunch of money on car insurance. And she sure wasn't ever going to make that pro soccer money. No, sir.
It was not an accident that Nasir Jones was the individual chosen to be at the OKC party. That 2 California kids that had the chance to go play for the Lakers were hosting, because not only did that team recruit both of them to come home to play, but one of the players on their team actually trolls Nasir Jones by wearing a hoodie.
Good point. Lonzo Ball said he was, what was the words he used?
Not relevant.
Irrelevant or something? Yeah. Please.
So that was calculated. And for Russell, who I've seen do a lot of troll things, even the No Vaseline
everything
video, I like that one. That was really slick.
I love it too.
That went over so many people's heads.
You know what else went over my head? The Hairline Boys. Paul George's hairline, like his eyebrows touch his hairline. You know what? Real brief story about mine. I was rushing around. I went in the barbershop. I was like, just give me a one clip. I don't need a fade. Like, I don't have time. I need to get out of here in 7 minutes. They gave me one clip. I looked and it changed. My hairline doesn't look right, Jay. This is bad. I need to get some of that forhims.com
But
going
see,
on.
here's where you messing up.
And now you're looking at it and making me nervous. This is making me whack. No, I want to go. I'm
going to tell you, David Jacoby looks like Remy from Higher Learning right now. That's who he looked like. Have you seen that movie? No. I can tell you didn't see it because you didn't respond.
I think I saw it. Was Busta Rhymes in that?
Correct.
Yeah, I saw it, but I saw it when it came out, and I haven't seen it since.
And I want to give people some other game. In that movie, Fudge, played by Cube, actually told Omar Epps when they were having a moment on the collegiate campus about why you're there. He questioned whether he'd have the dignity or the strength to not stand for the flag if everybody was looking at him. Mm-hmm. How about 20 plus years later?
Now we're talking about
the Colin Kaepernick thing happens.
Yep.
So again, for Paul George, for Nasir, for the Western Conference, it's going to be stacked, and OKC will be in the mix.
Second best team in the conference over the Rockets
today.
You think so?
Yeah.
They don't have Capella today.
They're going to be really good.
I like OKC this year. I definitely. So one thing I just want to talk about: why is everybody mad at the Warriors? Why is everybody mad at Boogie? Like we got to change the rules or something? Like why is everybody mad? What's the problem here?
All I know is this: since the guy got drafted for the Sacramento Kings, people question his emotional stability because he gets a lot of texts and he's fiery out there.
We've seen it.
Their teams and GMs and media personalities question whether he had discipline, or more importantly, is he a winner? Let me just say this. DeMarcus Cousins has scored the second most points for a player that has never made the postseason in the history of basketball.
Is that Get Up research? You got that Hembo research?
Yep. We've never said that on Get Up. That's just something I know. And it just came to me as we were doing this conversation. And so he's starving to be in a situation to win, and he's going to be also willing to prove so many people wrong that said the things that I just said. And they're going to be able to trot out a lineup featuring 5 current All-Stars for the first time since the 60s.
So one thing I want to talk about Boogie to the Warriors is everyone's all up in arms and mad, and Adam Silver needs to do this, and how did the league let him do this? Let me say this, I'm not a salary cap nerd, but I know this. Boogie's going to play well, and if things work out for Boogie, he's on a minimum deal right now. You look at the end of next year, and he goes to the Warriors front office, they're like, you can stay on the team, you just got to do another minimum deal. And then he says, all right, I showed the rest of the league that I can play. Thank you so much for this 1 year and this championship, but now I got to go somewhere else.
Let me put this on wax.
They can't keep all 5.
And we putting it on wax.
This ain't a 1 year experiment with DeMarcus Cousins.
What?
what you just said, a lot of people continue to have that overtone. Boogie going to play with them for 2 years.
What?
Because then he'll be in his 10th season. And then all of a sudden, he could get a maximum deal of 4 years, $170 million.
So you think he'll take a minimum next year too?
It won't probably be $5 million, but it will be probably like a Trevor Ariza type
below
deal.
Market, way below market. Like the market he's a max player. If he's healthy, like I haven't seen him play basketball since he hurt himself, obviously. If he's healthy, he's a maximum player.
Yep.
You get a chance to further your stock by playing on the biggest stage and playing with the best team. And if he hits the market in his 10th year after he just won 2 championships, he's still a young guy. That's when he's going to cash in. And so I'm not mad at the league. I'm mad at the other GMs. Yep. Let me tell you something. If I have an all-star player on my squad, this is the type of dice roll you need. The Philadelphia 76ers understand that Joel Embiid has a history of injuries. That don't mean they're not going to sign him. You can create an injury-laden contract like they did for Joel Embiid. Say, and I'm not picking on any squads, but this is what I would do. First off, if I'm in the East, I'm coming with the blank check. Because last time I checked, LeBron James just left, and it's wide open.
The best center in the East?
Wide open. Okay. Wide open. Like, other than the Boston Celtics.
I was about to say, the Celtics seem to be clear favorites to be the Eastern champions.
And so, if you wanted to pick, hey, maybe Boston and Philly in the conference finals, Indiana's on the come up, but you really can't definitively be like, what other squad is going to show up? Toronto, they were the number 1 seed, but they didn't ball in the last 2 years in the playoffs. But say I'm Milwaukee, and I got the Greek Freak, and I want to keep him. I'm the type of GM, I'm rolling the dice on Boogie. 4 years. Let's do it right now.
Really?
Let's do it right now. Because
you could regret that.
No, I'm not.
You could regret that.
No, I'm not. Because I'm lining his deal up with Giannis's. So I'm doing the opposite of what I think the New Orleans Pelicans just did. Okay? But they fall in this category as well. To me, as long as you keep Boogie, you keep AD. When Boogie leaves, how long is AD staying there again?
Who else played really well in the playoffs? Rondo. Is he on the team still? Drew Holiday, injury history. He could be injured next year. Next you know.
And so I'm getting a 2-for-1. Let me tell you who got a 2-for-1.
Mirotic is the second best player on the floor with
Let
AD.
me tell you who got a 2-for-1. And I've been speaking into a microphone all season saying, I know Paul wanted to go to LA, but I'm trading him to OKC. Indiana, win. Oladipo, most improved. OKC, win. PG re-signs. Great players don't want to play for 3 teams in 3 years. You got to roll the dice. I got Russ. I want to put him with Russ. I don't think he's going to want to leave. I want to put him with Greek Freak. I don't think he's going to want to leave. That's the thinking behind it. And so I was baffled that no team stepped out there to actually try to do that.
Do you believe that? Because I think it tells his story nicely. Oh, no team gave me any offers.
I didn't say any offers.
There was reports that the Lakers tried to sign him to a similar like low money deal. But I'm just shocked by that.
I said 4 years.
No,
I'm not playing.
I don't think he got a 4-year deal.
I'm not playing.
He didn't get a 4-year
I'm
offer.
calling that
He would have signed it.
I'm calling that 1201. If you root for a team that isn't attracting elite level free agents and doesn't draft well, guess what you need to do? Roll the dice for a known commodity.
It's a good point. That's a good point. Because there aren't too many free agents that are super excited to go to Milwaukee this year.
I said that on this show about Boogie, and I'm going to say it again about somebody else. Isaiah Thomas.
For real.
He just averaged 29 points 2 seasons ago.
Is he a perfect basketball player? No, he's not. But is he better than your current starting point guard in the Eastern Conference? Probably.
And definitely better than your backup.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want him on the squad.
And is he willing to take a 1-year deal at a decent number? Pay him a maximum 1 year, whatever. Do it. See if it works out. If it works out, he'll resign. Magic.
Shout out.
That's my point. And so, don't be mad at the Warriors for this one. I understand the KD thing happened before the salary cap got switched and they snuck that in. Mm-hmm. But this one's on the rest of the GMs, not on the Warriors.
Agreed. And do you think... I also think that the Warriors have created a place where people want to play. Like, I believe KD, when they had that meeting in the Hamptons, when Steph and Thompson and they all came, they're like, we don't care about shots. We don't care about, personal stats. Like, we're here just to win and play winning basketball. And I think people like DeMarcus Cousins say, look, if no one else is going to give me a 4-year deal, I want to do that. I want to play with that team.
And also, can we now give that to Russ too? Because I remember so many times defending that people don't want to play with Russ. He doesn't make guys around him better. He chased KD off.
I kind of feel that way.
All I know is Paul George stayed. So that buried all of that conversation.
Would a Paul George and LeBron Lakers team end up with a better seeding than a Paul George currently constructed OKC team?
No.
You're two Paul Georges.
No.
I don't think so either.
Because we underestimate how good Russ is and how really good Sam Presti has been building out a roster while Rob Pelinka and Magic just getting started.
Couple things. Number one, I have a confession. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to everyone listening to this podcast. I'm here on my day off. We love the podcast listeners so much. I failed you, and I want to apologize. I haven't watched Power yet.
What?
I haven't watched it yet.
I'm not upset because
I think I'm going to watch it this afternoon.
It's been on a few seasons, so a few days won't matter.
No, but I'm going to catch up.
But once you start...
I'm going to start with this season. I'm not going back. I'm going to start right here with this season. Something tells me I'll be able to pick up the storylines pretty quickly.
That'd be great.
And I like your promos with it, too.
Thank you.
Those are great.
Appreciate that.
You got actor
getting
Jalen
a chance?
Rose back?
No doubt. How about getting a chance, and people that listen to the show know this is not phony. I probably watched 5 shows and probably only seen 10 movies. To get a chance to do a promo for my favorite show with Tommy and Ghost.
You like it when the business is organic. You know what I mean? Like, it feels good. Like the Puma stuff. It's organic. It's a nice fit. It's like if Kirkland were to reach out to me and said, we need someone to represent our brand. Kirkland. Or the minivans. Minivans were like, look, we need a family man that, that has a lot of professional and personal responsibilities. Really why I'm here? I mean, I love to give our podcast listeners what they want. It's got to get away from the kids. There's a lot of kids
How's
last
your
few
East
days.
Coast move treating you?
It's great, man.
Let the people know. I have a lot of people asking me, did he officially move?
I officially moved.
What's going on with the wife
live
and kids?
here. I always thought we were going to move to Brooklyn. Brooklyn's just as expensive as Manhattan. I live in Manhattan for the first time, which is very interesting. A very different experience than living in Brooklyn. It's very different. I did not understand how different Brooklyn was from Manhattan. I know that sounds silly, but it's a different city here. Yeah. There's people everywhere. It's busy. You don't have to walk far to get anything. Everything's everywhere. My kids are exposed to so many strangers. Some dude fell over, bonked his head. He's bleeding out right in front of my place, calling 911. I had to run upstairs and get him a towel and get him a water. Ran back downstairs. My son's looking at him, and he goes, I've never seen this before. What? I've never seen someone call 911 and the ambulance come. And then I looked at him. I was like, what? You okay? What's your name? He's like, he said his name. I don't want to repeat it. And I was like, yo, you okay? What year is it? Because that's what they asked me when I get concussed. What year is it? And I always get it wrong. He was like, 2013. I was like, oh, this guy's concussed. Now, have you been drinking? He was like, yes. And I was like, oh, you're drunk. And then I saw that he had the EKG thing from the hospital stuck to his chest. I was like, oh, you just left the hospital and got hammered, and now you're bleeding out in front of my stoop.
Well, fortunately for him, you were there.
Yeah, man.
Don't underestimate the fact that you helped out somebody in need.
Of course. I mean, really, the other people called 911. I just ran up and got them a bottle of water. I did what I could. I can't throw stitches on the guy.
You're a contributing member to society.
Man. Yeah, it was good. He exposed my kids to a lot of stuff. I love being in New York City. Now Lance is in L.A.,
You're here to hold it down.
Yeah, someone's got to hold it down. So, Steph Curry had a boy. Congratulations to, first couple of the National Basketball Association.
The second couple.
I want to apologize to Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union.
The third couple. Because LeBron and Savannah's in there too.
but they just keep camping.
I got to go with the eldest first.
Jackie Christie, Doug Christie.
No, so to me, it's Dwayne Wade and Gabby. Mm-hmm. LeBron and Savannah. Then Aisha and Steph.
For sure. Yep. And named his son Cannon. So here's my question. Do you think Wardell Sr. is upset because he didn't carry on the tradition? Or do you think Steph was like, I'm not naming my kid Wardell? Like, how do you think that thought process worked?
Or he's a public figure. Maybe he did, but he just want us to call his son Cannon.
Like Wardell Cannon.
We don't see the birth certificate. Only thing we know is what people want them to call us.
I think Wardell's like, you gotta have another one. You gotta have a boy.
So that probably could have played out as well.
Great name though, Cannon.
I like that too.
He's a
He
shooter.
already shooting.
Yeah, it's Cannon. I like that a lot. That works. There are rumors that Kevin Love could get traded from the Cavs.
No surprises. I mean, it's only a couple of players in the game that are untouchable. He had peaks and valleys in his performance. They don't have LeBron James. They're searching for an identity. Everything's on the table. Nothing's personal.
Trevor Reese is no longer in the Rockets. I think that's a bigger deal.
That's a big deal. They're going to miss a two-way glue type guy. Obviously, Tucker played well. Gordon played well. Ariza gives them something different from both of those guys. And if you're going to get $15 million in Phoenix, I'll take it. And just so everybody knows, a couple of teams that had great off seasons. Phoenix, the Mavs. We talked about the Lakers clearly in OKC. But my favorite sleeper is the Denver Nuggets. Man, re-sign Jokic, bring back Barton. They still have Millsap. They drafted Michael Porter Jr.
We know their backcourt. They got a solid starting five.
They're going to be a top-tier team in the West, too. I'm just putting that out there.
And they were an overtime game away from being in the playoffs. An overtime game away. I like the Nuggets. Denver's great. So, why haven't the Rockets signed Capella?
Because they don't have to. He's a restricted free agent and there's not much money across the league for him to get a big-time offer from another team. That's the same with Marcus Smart. There's a few guys that are kind of dealing with that plight around the league.
Marcus Smart is frustrated. Reports are that Marcus Smart is frustrated.
Well,
upset,
but the Celtics got to be careful.
Celtics
got to be careful here. Because you still communicate with the guy. And when he comes out and talks about being hurt, to me, that means that he feels like nobody's talking to him. The business is what it is. But what happened with Isaiah Thomas and how he felt like he put it all out there and ended up feeling like he didn't get the same level of respect in return. You just don't want to become a franchise, and they're a storied one, and they do a terrific job. Danny Ainge just have done a phenomenal thing at rebuilding, the Celtic legacy. You just got to be careful of not alienating players around the league.
Two things that we've discussed for quite some time are in the news, right? One, you own, one I own. You were calling for open seating in the playoffs for quite some time, and now it's a hot topic in the NBA. And the latest is that the NBA is saying the reason that they considered this but then rejected it is because of travel. That there would be teams in playoffs, in multiple playoff series, that would be across 3 time zones. The travel would be too much for the players and the media. Your thoughts, Mr. Rose?
Let me teach the world something. Okay. And I probably don't have the exact percentage.
Oh, I definitely don't have the exact percentage.
But you'll get where I'm coming from. 80% of the United States lives in the Eastern time zone.
Definitely don't have the percentage right. I can Google it while you talk, but I'm going to say it's probably closer to like 65.
Please do.
Sure.
And the reason why I bring that up is you can tell me about the time zones, but I just gave you the core of your business and your squads because they play and people live in an Eastern time zone. A high percentage of those that live in the United States. That's an absolute fact. Teams fly private, have the greatest accommodations, have the greatest nutritionists and physical therapists. And
that's interesting.
All of the other things that come with anything that's going to stop them performing at optimum level gets handled for the players. So to think travel would be the barrier to that happening is absurd.
I'm working on it. Here's what I can't tell you while this loads. Mountain Standard Time Zone, 6.7%. That's tiny. Central, 29%.
You'll listen to me one day.
Pacific, 16%. Eastern Standard Time Zone. You said 80. 47%. So I'll listen to you, but I'll also tell you that you're wrong.
That's still high.
It's high.
But that's still
higher than I expected.
So it goes back to my original point. If half of the United States lives in the Eastern Time Zone, it clearly shows that how many time zone players need to travel while they're in their private plane is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Of course. It's completely relevant. Also, it's someone who worked in television their entire career. I'm always like, how come we always say it's on at 8 when there's so many people that it's not 8 for them? And the response is most of the people that watch the show are actually in the Eastern Time Zone. Like, the Eastern Time Zone is really what matters. I'm like, what about Los Angeles and California? Like, actually, the numbers come from the East Coast.
And so here's why the league should do it, other than obviously competitive balance and getting the best teams. Creates new rivalries. It infuses new blood into a league that's devoid of that level of disdain for your opponent. And it gives the fans a chance to see players perform against one another in the playoffs that we would never see. I want to see Dame play against Kyrie in a 7-game series.
Yes. Something tells me we're not going to get that.
I want to see the Greek Freak play against KD in a 7-game series. But we can't get that the way it's set up.
I like the Greek Freak KD matchup. They would definitely guard each other. They would have to. I like that.
And so the only way you get towards that is to unlock the seeding.
Mm-hmm. And then there would be more travel during the regular season because you would no longer do the thing where you play more in-conference than out-of-conference games.
So
it'd be more travel. Guess what? You're going to be okay. You'll be okay.
So
NBA players travel. This isn't 1975 anymore.
Exactly.
You're going to be fine. The other one is this. I started this because I had a natural organic thought one time. I was like, LeBron James is going to play with his son. That's how he's going to retire.
Yep, you own that. I was
the first person to say that. And now people are noticing that his contract, if he plays 4 years, lines up with what?
The year that his son
would be eligible
enter the NBA draft.
I just want to put that on wax again because I said that early.
Make sure you pull that back up, Reg. Jacoby was the first person on that.
I want to thank everybody for listening. We didn't do callers or voicemails. We have a skeleton staff today. We called this together very late. I want to thank JC, everyone listening, Reg, everyone putting the extra effort to make this happen. Harlito's at his bachelor party right now. He was sending text at his bachelor party from his bachelor party to arrange this podcast.
Don't mess it up, Harlan.
Harlan, don't. Bachelor parties are the worst. We'll be back with another Dope Pod to Step 2 next week. We've got a few days off. Jalen Rose may or may not be enjoying some time off.
I need a vacation.
Some well-deserved time off.
I need a vacation.
Enjoy your vacation, Jalen Rose. We'll be back next week, I believe Thursday, to give the people what they want.
We're not done.
Why?
We're not got to give the people. Give people what they want.
They're my little guys. I love them.